Hi folks. So, yes. The reality is, of course, people have to believe and have to say to themselves and to others that they are on a good path. Why? If they truly believe they're on a bad path, wouldn't it be absolute insanity to remain on that path? If they believe they're in a church that wasn't functioning and wasn't leading people in God's way, wouldn't they leave? But most is certainly true. Most are in churches that are not leading people according to God, but they remain. And I say again, I have the example of when I went into the Community Church of God about 3 or 4 or 5 years ago after a service, and asked the person, so how was it? And the person described a church that was phenomenal. The pastor being amazing, the worship being amazing, the ministry being amazing. Nearly to a point of effing amazing. That good, right? That's what this person described. And when I said, okay, so how do you deal with the queues of people trying to get in? She didn't understand at all what I was saying. She didn't understand that according to what she said, if what she said was true, there'd be queues of people going around the block trying to get into this church, because it would be such a church that people wouldn't be able to walk past it without the presence of God affecting them. And yet what she was saying was lies. She was doing this thing where if the church was at 50%, she was giving it an extra 30 to say it was at 80%. That church has never been at 50. Never. I don't imagine. Look, to be honest, and it is, look at the fruit. I do not imagine in any way, shape or form that the pastor's wife's father, when he was in charge of that church or anything to do with it, I don't believe that church was any good then either. Why? Because he brought up his daughter. He brought up the wife of the pastor. If the pastor is happy to ban people, the wife is happy to ban people, therefore the father of the wife would have been happy to ban people. They're not going to do things that the wife's father would have been completely against, are they? They're going to be doing things that he would support because they believe that honouring the father is very important. It's part of the reason why they came to this particular church. So you know from that it's highly likely that Rick Harris's wife's father, so Rick Harris's father-in-law, he was just as pointless and worthless as a minister, if he was the minister there, because they wouldn't be doing things in the way they're doing because they would know it wouldn't be honouring the father. So you know that there's been delusion all the way through church. I say, I was at the Green Street Baptist Church years ago when they were talking about the vine, but when they got to the scriptures that talked about the cut-off, they would stop. They would stop, I think it's verse 13, is it, of John 15. They would stop there. Every time, stop there. After a few times, I started to wonder, what on earth are they doing? Oh, of course, they're stopping there. Because when you start talking about the cut-off, if people ask questions, what does that mean? If you're going to be honest, that's not very nice. People are going to think, oh, is that me? And of course, you don't want people in church thinking that. Because people will start asking questions. When you start speaking about the cut-off, that what the Lord is really talking about, I'm the vine, you are the branches. Any branch in me that does not bear fruit will be cut off. Well, excuse me, how can you be a branch in him? Oh, crap. That saying once saved isn't always saved. Because that saying Yeah, there are branches in him that are going to be cut off. Crap. Could that be me, therefore? That's what people then, and they start asking questions. Then they start looking for accountability. You can't have any of that. So rather than have any of that, right? Now, of course, I'm joking saying you can't have any of that. You have to have that. Because it's about helping people. I would rather be in a church where if I was a minister of that church and I was doing things wrong, I had people pointing out what I was doing wrong rather than me not trying to help them to sort out their life with God. Because I don't want those people to go to hell. I'd rather be sacked because I've done something bad than them go to hell. But that is not the case with people in church. In any way, shape or form, that is not the case. They would not rather be sacked than people in their church go to hell. No, because they don't believe that anyone in their church is going to go to hell. Well, come on. If there's nobody in any church that believes that people in their church is going to go to hell, that makes the Son of God a liar. Well, the Son of God is not a liar. If you are happy to lie to yourself, you are the liars. He is not. And people will lie to themselves. And again, as I say, it's such a sad thing. It's not a good thing. I'm not saying this is in that. I'm happy saying it. It's a bloody horrendous thing. You've got people that will truly, absolutely, they're going to go to hell because they've told themselves lies and they're going to believe those lies up until the point they die. And by that point, it's too late. They're going to go to hell. Some dozy bloody cow is going to give this video a dislike because I've just said that. Because I've just said it's horrendous that people are in this situation and are going to go to hell because of it. They're going to give that a dislike. How ridiculous and sick is that? That a person is going to give it a dislike because I'm saying it's horrendous that people are going to go to hell. They don't want people to be warned. They don't want people to be thinking that church could be leading you down that path. Well, what if that's true? You shouldn't be giving people warnings. You should be happy for people to go to hell rather than point out the church isn't doing what it should be doing. Yeah. That's the reality. That person giving a thumbs down, that's what's in that person. They will be, yeah, this whole idea that you can't speak anything negative about church. What if church is negative? What if church is leading people down a path to hell? The whole idea, it's so demonic. It's so absolutely demonic that in order to keep the idea that church is holy, that church is righteous, that church is godly, you will allow people to go to hell. That is horrendous. But that is a reality. And it is absolutely horrendous that is the reality. But it is. That is the reality. And yeah, for me, this is what has been in my understanding for a long time. And so when I see church, when I see the understandings of people in church, it's horrific. being in those places, seeing that. When you got people saying as if it's a wonderful thing, that he asked the pastor, Jeff Oakes, to be his spiritual father, and Jeff said yes. As if that's a lovely thing that Jeff did. Wow. That's not lovely. What Jeff did is not lovely. He was people pleasing. He did that to please you. But you already have a spiritual father that now you won't recognise, because you recognise Jeff Oakes as your spiritual father. So therefore Father God is not your spiritual father, and won't be because of that. That is horrendous. That's not a blessing. That's not a lovely thing that Jeff Oakes did. It's demonic. When the devil said to Yeshua, I'll give you this and this and this, yeah, and people will bow down to you, the pastors said yes. The Son of God said no, but the pastors said yes. It's horrendous. I'm not going to pretend it's nice, because it isn't. It's absolutely horrendous and disgusting. So there you go. Take care. God bless. Bye.